We're on the start with the Coxless Fours. This is the Wyfold, the club Coxless Fours. We've got the holders, Thames Rowing Club A, furthest from us, and in front of us, Grosvenor Rowing Club from Chester. So it's the Thames against the D. It's Thames A against Grosvenor Rowing Club in the Wyfolds.
And both crews nice and straight here off the blocks, staying well away from each other. We learned a little bit this morning that doesn't work very well. Grosvenor sliding slightly over towards the middle of the course. Thames really straight there, a little bit close to the boys maybe.
Yeah, Thames always hitting the boys there. Just look at those left oars on the Thames crew. They need to correct a little bit. Looks to me from this angle as though they're going to hit the boys. There you do, you see them. Bit of a shipwreck there. Now this is where experience comes in, right?
It is, yeah. Now they're going to have to fix their steering again, but get their boat speed back up again. Both crews now seem to be back on station, but Thames are really rattled there, steering again very hard to come back into the course.
I actually think they recovered pretty well there, don't you? So the steers is Tom Fode sitting in the bow seat of that Thames crew. Quite tempting when you hit a buoy like that to overcorrect. They didn't do that. They kind of came very neatly back onto the track, and it looks like, well, at least relative to the Grosvenor crew, they haven't lost any of their position despite that steering error.
No, they haven't. We talked earlier about the transition here. The Thames crew actually, despite all that disruption, have actually got into their rhythm quite well. And my guess is they're probably and still a little bit anxious from that and driving it a bit harder than they might have planned just to make sure they're in contention. And here they've got 2 lengths really at the moment, and they should be fine with this. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so Tom Fode, we mentioned, steering the Thames crew from the bow seat. 6 Henley appearances and 33 years of age, so a bit of experience can help there. Let's just go back and see what happened, Adrian.
Yeah, you can see Thames there have moved over, and the blades are about to hit the buoy right there. It's got caught at buoy, now knocks the boat over. The people on the far side, blades under the water. Now you've lost all your boat speed, and you have to try and stay in sync and generate the speed again.
Actually, I think that little sort of shipwreck on the right-hand oars there probably helped them a bit, because that slowed the boat and turned it back onto the course. So although it's not what you'd want to do, actually maybe that helped them make that correction.
Yeah, particularly as that they were not far from hitting the beginning of the booms, and if they hit the booms instead of the buoys, the race would have been over.
So that was 2 lessons really. A lesson in how not to steer on the buoys, but also quite a good lesson in how to recover quickly. And I think probably the heart rate will have gone up quite a lot in that Thames crew. Yeah. And that's where, when you're sitting in front of the steersman, you just need to trust that they can do their job and make the correction. Yeah. Because if you start looking around and getting concerned about the steering, well, then you've got more than one athlete in the boat who is under extra stress.
And I think that's a really valid point, because the reason they were on the buoys may not have been the steering. Maybe they got the pressures wrong and the boat just went off to one side. And you're right, it's this whole thing about everybody's got their job, do your job properly.
Okay, joining the race live as we go through the middle of the course to the enclosures, and you can see Thames A, the holders of this event, are, well, they've been able to really relax now. After that adrenaline-fueled start.
It's a bit of a contrast to this, yeah. And I know there's been some injury in this crew here with Tom Fode, Alex Sanchez-Ferez, Philip Garnier and Toby Seeley. But you can see here now how they got it in control, actually how patient they are. At the end of the stroke, they really make sure that they finish the stroke off and they don't rush their hands away, and they let the boat do some of the work when they sit still.
Yeah, so we see quite a lot of crews now coached in that style, which is really sit still at the finish. I guess that's the fastest part of the stroke, but it also gives everybody a moment of absolute synchronicity to build from, doesn't it? I
think that's right, and they're not really pausing. Their hands are still moving, but very slowly.
So after a little bit of drama at the start, Thames are able to pause, sit the boat level and drop their oars on the water in a clean fashion. And it's Thames Rowing Club A. Thames Rowing Club are the holders of this Wyfold trophy, and now crossing the line behind them we have the young men in orange from Grosvenor Rowing Club up in Chester. So victory for Thames A over Grosvenor Rowing Club in the Wyfold Challenge Cup.